bullshit music loving cunt.
They want to ban straws. Has anybody ever tried those paper straws? They're not working too good, right? Has anybody ever tried, seriously, the new straws made out of paper, right? It disintegrates as you drink it. If you have a nice tie like this tie, this would have no chance. By the time you get finished, the straw is totally disintegrated. Does anybody walk around with a plastic straw? Because it's not bad. You know, you whip it out, boom, boom. You never had to do that. So they want to ban straws. I said, oh, really? What about the cart? What about the plate? What about the knives and the spoons that are plastic? Oh, they're okay. But the straws we got to ban.
Boys, that was so in sync. It felt almost as Seinfeld was doing it himself.
It's the best video on the internet.
I'll go on record saying that was much better than Seinfeld.
The Contrarian.
But it's the best combination of both. Donald Trump, funniest man on
funnier.
earth.
It actually is funnier.
Seinfeld, the only funny thing about it is the music.
Because I don't agree with that at all. But like
honestly, go look at any of Jerry Seinfeld's openings where he's saying, "Do you ever notice how women drive like this?
He is a New Yorker. Like this?" That's mad.
Is it madder than Donald Trump?
I think Trump is funnier. But if you think about it, they're both...
people thought that was Vines because that was bad timing.
What? They thought that was the Vines.
They were like, well, was that
everyone's saying, hey, you know what I'm going to say? It is better than Young Jeezy.
Well, I'm winning anyway.
Yeah, I'll concede that.
You're getting hammered.
Nah, I don't think we are.
Yes, you are, dude.
Give me that.
Well, just for those of you that have just joined us, the pre podcast section.
Right, so that's one opinion. Let's get gay, boys.
MISLAV and Jordan both had like actually the three of us, we had an intense argument where Jordan was talking about normal musical standards, saying like artists like Snoop Dogg.
Yeah, you're
Young
getting
Jeezy,
smashed, Misov. You really, this is
good.
really embarrassing.
Whereas
if I were you, I would quit my entire lucrative broadcasting career and just focus on your strength in life, which is Queensland politics.
Maybe you should adopt Jerry Seinfeld's show, improve yours.
You're a mean drunk.
I'm a mean drunk. That's rich coming from you.
So there's a question about the budget.
Wait, so is it conclusive?
We'll get on.
Poll it. Let's poll it. Yeah. But anyway, sorry. Are we?
Yeah, we're on the main pod. Most of the people listening to this don't have any context of what your fight's about. So unless you want to introduce them to the fight, move on.
No,
and I do.
I need to support MISLAV as supreme man of culture.
Huh? What's that?
Some dude just said, I need to support MISLAV as the supreme man of culture.
And you're saying that the Autos support us?
That doesn't sound like an Autos to me. I think this guy...
how convenient. As soon as someone's on your side, now all of a sudden they're down with it.
Well,
they get it.
Who has the highest emotional intelligence here, would you say?
Clearly me.
Okay.
I think I do.
Yeah. The young Jeezy fan and the guy who thought the Ivy closed 5 years ago.
How is that a tale about emotional intelligence?
No, it doesn't. But like,
it's a tale about intelligence.
If you want to crown yourself that's fine.
I mean, look, can we just talk about who has the highest emotional intelligence here? For the last half hour, you've been sitting there to two of your best friends being like, you're the shittest cunt I ever know. Anyone that agrees with you is autistic, there I said.
No, that's not true. I'm just fervently
not true.
Defending basically music history against like examples of musical retards. That's what I've been doing. You've been like, Miles Davis is shit. Young Jeezy's good. And it's like...
No one said Miles Davis is shit. I said that you don't pay Miles Davis as much as you think you do. You pay the Vines albums that are objectively worse. I think I know myself
more than you know me.
I don't think that's true, actually. I mean, I remember more about your life than you do. And let's just reiterate this.
80%.
I am not you. You are me 5 years in the future.
90% of my life is listening to music. So that's one thing I can comment on my own life more than you can on my life.
Nah, I think you've got this one wrong. So you don't know shit.
2 against 1. Yeah. No. We're not taking the Twitch opinions anymore from now on. That's fine. We'll just go with that vibe.
You're just closing the opinion.
That's the end of that.
Why? Because
Young Jeezy wins
ones.
by a landslide. Thank you very much for your contribution, guys. But that will be your last.
Okay, so should we move
Pinnacles of musical geniuses in between these two.
First segment?
Damn. I never knew this. I never knew there was a way to trigger MISLAV, but here's the way to do it.
Yeah, moronic
The
bullshit
vines
comments.
are not that good.
Yeah. Idiocy. Who would have thought complete
why are you
idiot?
so invested in this?
Who would have thought complete moronic statements would annoy someone? Like,
I'm gonna
that's
set the
bizarre.
camera on MISLAV.
That's a bizarre
I
situation.
pay you for moronic statements. Clearly, they don't piss me off. I love them.
Huh?
You, on the other hand, are and also moronic statements on a very specific band.
No, dude.
I wonder why
you
do
threw
you
it.
like them so
like-
much?
It's like Miles Davis, Bill Evans, Charlie Parker, The Vines, Tame Impala. It's like anyone with talent, fuck him. Some dumb cunt that got a record deal because of a bag of Cheetos that talks about cocaine, the height of music. Oh, why are you angry? Why are you angry that I'm saying a guy that is famous to try to get people high on cocaine in shitty clubs around the world to try to get handies under their pants on dance floors and to get young Pakistani teenagers to think they're cool is very cool music. Hey, why does that anger you?
As opposed to what?
Led Zeppelin?
Yeah, who definitely were like, who would make an announcement say no to drugs, boys.
What?
They were also all about drugs and
Yes,
getting
yes,
hand
but they
jobs.
weren't young Jeezy.
Yeah.
Anyway,
And
let's
it's not
move on.
good.
Let's move on, surely.
No, I think
Stairway
there's
to
so much.
heaven.
All right, well, David, we'll delve
content
further. We'll delve.
so good.
We can delve further. Okay, we'll delve further. Why else is it annoying?
going.
Miles Davis knows how to play an instrument. There's one. Hey, how about this?
Yeah,
Even
the voice is an
even-
instrument.
Yeah, that's true. Is
So,
young Jay-Z
case
a
closed.
good singer?
Thank you very much, Miles Davis. Let's at least say this.
Yeah.
Young Jeezy is standing on giant shoulders. Can we just?
What is it?
Miles Davis cleared the path, and then Jeezy said, "Step aside. It's my time to shine." Stood on Miles Davis's shoulders, and that's how you
know
make
what?
history, ladies and gentlemen.
hip-hop's roots are
just
in
like
jazz.
that. Just like that. One of the funniest concepts in the world, right there. You just come full circle. You just come out with a genius like that, and you're like, all right, go see his show. It is gold. I was being mean. It is gold.
So it's confirmed Young Jeezy is better.
It's
I think
confirmed that
that's
he's.
di-
It's,
well,
a-
listen,
Now,
confirmed
more
in the
important,
comments.
it's confirmed that
is
he's a
Lil
funny
Bow
cunt.
Wow also better?
Well, in your books, definitely, right?
Yeah, in the book, definitely.
I don't know what that means, but in your books, I would assume so.
Can't believe Miss Love. Okay,
All right. Knowing that is MISLAV's hill that he wants to die on, because I just do not know enough about, let's be honest, crap bands from 2005.
Miles Davis isn't 2005.
He used to be.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure he was been dead for many years at that point.
So what does that mean?
There might have just been some best of.
So then
CDs
it's
that were
irrelevant?
released, and
Wait,
there
so-
you go. He released some albums.
Wait,
Post-mortem band.
wait, so he's dead, that's irrelevant?
Huh?
Because he's dead, that's irrelevant?
What do you mean?
Who gives a shit if he's dead? What's your point?
Aren't you supposed to like him?
Yeah, I do like him. I don't
Quote from
understand.
MISLAV. Who gives a shit if he's dead?
I think you've got to stop pressing on this one because I'm afraid that Miss Love will beat us up.
Look at him. MISLAV's getting upset.
It's just insanity. I mean, it's
Nah, I'm yanking your chain.
It's-
kid. They're all good, ain't they?
no, make your point. Make your point.
Yeah, music's good.
My point is, look, can we just agree on this point? Faker is better than the Vines.
Dude, someone
That's
asked a
fucking
question.
retarded. You know what you just said? You might as well have said.
Miss Love, someone just asked you a question. Miss Love is playing devil's advocate, right? Question mark.
But you know what? I will say this about you, Miss. The fact that
It's not about me. We're not talking about me.
well, we are. Come
No,
on.
we're not.
We really are.
We're really not. We're talking about like music history versus retarded pop culture.
Sorry, but
Sorry,
Miss Love sucks.
Miss
said
Love
something.
sucks.
You know the rules.
It's so harsh, dude.
What?
Miss Love sucks. Just comment. Okay, this is vicious.
Go.
Are you
Trigger
ready? Are you
warning.
ready for this? Can you handle it?
Yes.
We know you're bald when you have to wear a hat inside.
wants to see that? I'm doing that for you. MISLAV sucks. But in response, we know you're a fucking. In response to that, though, we know you're a fucking autist weirdo when you have to take my name as your whole life's persona. Like
You're in it too now, MISLAV sucks.
Like, dude, MISLAV sucks. I have to just say this. Wait.
Wait, we can't take vocals? God, I want MISLAV
Yo,
sucks to
can we?
read.
MISLAV sucks. We're getting you. You better be
MISLAV
on during the
MISLAV
live stream. We're
sucks,
taking your
check it
call
out.
next
Yeah.
week.
You can't
MISLAV meets his dark shadow.
You can't incite suicide on Twitch, can you? I mean, to take on someone else's whole life as your life is kind of sad, bro. But look, dude, I'm sure that your mum thinks you're a nice person.
Oh wow.
I hope that your mum thinks you're a nice person.
You know, I
Can we
know
have
that
some
this
MISLAV
sounds like it's
fans?
convenient that I want to switch, and I think it's because like the vibe here is really tense, but it's not actually because it's tense. It's just like I can't keep laughing. It's really hurting my stomach.
Yeah. And MISLAV, you've got one supporter. He says, someone's going to make a profile called MISLAV sucks.
Yeah. Yeah, let's do that. Let's do MISLAV sucks. Because, like, I think, I don't know. I'm trying to think of an equivalent of, like, you know, in, like, the 80s. Not even the 80s. What's the... I'm trying, you know, there's, like, super fans that take on... Let's be honest. Anyone that goes to, like, Comic-Con is just kind of just like, I'm Spider-Man. It's like, come on, just bulldozer into a big vat.
How do you
And
know
I think-
MISLAV sucks go to Comic-Cons?
Because only people that are sort of obsessed with personalities that much don't have winning
Have you ever
personalities
thought about the
themselves.
fact that he says that because he really loves you?
That's
that's his
irrelevant.
way of getting
but this
your
is where we
attention?
differ. Like, I don't care about irony as much as you do. I really don't give a shit about, like, irony as much as you guys do.
MISLAV sucks. He really hates you.
His MISLAV sucks.
As you can clearly see from his comments, there's no irony in that.
Sorry, dude.
The man doesn't appreciate irony at all. He's like,
I appreciate it a little bit, but when you base your whole life around it, maybe it's kind of lame.
But would you say that? Is it fair to say that you base your entire life around the Vines?
No, Jesus Christ. Dude, it's the crazy thing about this is, like, they're a band that, like, I kind of like not that much. That's the irony of it. It's just
I
like,
don't know if that's true.
yeah,
that's fine. You
Dude,
can
I think
believe whatever you want to believe.
MISLAV just hit the Eagle Boys pizza moment just now.
Yeah, he did.
You've just hit the
Is that
Eagle Boys pizza.
is that a Pakistani term or?
Eagle Boys pizza?
Eagle Boys Pizza.
Do you not remember?
Well, in a
those?
way, because
No, I
it's only
remember it,
found
but
in Western Sydney.
I don't know what these ridiculously esoteric sayings mean.
Oh no, it doesn't mean.
It's not esoteric. It was the third largest.
Hey,
Okay,
hold
well,
on,
okay,
hold on.
Paul,
I'm
what does
gonna-
Eagle
I'm gonna
Boys
fix
pizza
the
moment
air
mean?
conditioning a little bit more. I think we need to lower the temperature a little bit.
What does Eagle Boys pizza moment mean?
Stop
I'm gonna-
while you're at it.
Is that a
It's
is
getting
that
hot over here.
is that,
Look at
is
him. He's
that
red faced.
Hold up, let me fix the fan.
Idiots.
Let's put it up in
So
the
many-
direction that it needs the
so
most.
many idiots? All right, let's
Hold
talk.
up. Let me fix this AC.
All right, pop. Dude, you unplugged me.
Oh, it's.
You unplugged me. Anyway,
Yeah, I think I've come to a realization.
Sorry, I don't
that
know your-
think that
like-
Germany came to a long time ago. Air conditioning is mad.
Particularly when you've got triggered individuals in the building.
I am actually feeling the heat.
it is
radiating
hard
off
to
me
deal
right
with
now.
these.
This side of my
This
body
many
is hotter than
fucking
this side.
retards. You two included. Anyway, should we talk about
MISLAV, do you want to?
the cabinet or whatever? Like whatever. Serious topics that we want to. No irony there. Let's talk about tax. That's just straight fun. That's just straight fun. Don't joke about that. But joke about the history of music since the beginning of time. That's golden.
I'm going to
That's
set the
gold.
camera on MISLAV. We've got to capture this moment.
We can set the since the beginning of time. It's fine.
Piss up.
But,
As
like,
a fair man, I'm
you're
going to give
re-
you the last word. Like,
You're retard.
Hey, you get 2 minutes to just mouth off.
No, that's all I got.
We'll have to listen.
No, that's all I got.
Please, there has to be some
Okay,
more.
this is all I'm saying. The history of music since the beginning of time, fair game. Really esoteric, boring shit politics, no fucking around there. So let's dive into that, guys. What everyone wants to hear. How many seats? 2. Oh, 2.5? That's your thing now, 2.5. Was that an Eagle Boys moment? Would you say that the 2.5 seats in regional Toowoomba were an Eagle Boys moment, sir? All right, play Young Jeezy. Play Young Jeezy.
We gotta play Vines, I think.
Where's he going? Where are you going? Yeah, fuck off.
Yeah, he's pissing himself.
Yeah.
Look, I guess we'll just agree to disagree on that.
Well, I mean, that's what debate is, you know?
You think Led Zeppelin's good, and I think Young Jeezy.
And that's all fine.
Both are completely valid opinions.
Well, look, sure. Look, I'm all for freedom of speech, but I'm also the freedom of speech to call people retards, you know what I mean? That's fair.
Hey, Young Jeezy would be very offended.
I'm not talking about Young Jeezy.
I know. Okay, before Jordan comes, because if Jordan comes back, he's going to take this even deeper. So, I've got some... You've made some really... Oh, okay, let's start with this.
Don't actually talk about shadow cabinets.
No, I'm not going to. What do you think about
Hit me.
COVID and Trump getting it? Do you think it's going to affect the elections?
You go first. I've talked enough.
Do you know there's like this conspiracy theory that's going around, which is saying that the only way that Trump can now come back from this and get the media attention away from him is if he like bombs a country or something. Like not like start a war with China or anything, but just like bomb like Yemen.
Really?
And just say, there's a new terrorist group that's emerging and I've just bombed them.
You're right. Wait, what are you talking about? What do you mean?
Just to like distract. Hey, Jordan, what do you think? How do you think Trump is going to be able to distract everyone from the fact that he is breathing very heavily? Have you guys seen the video? He is breathing quite heavily.
I haven't seen it. What is he just struggling?
He
He
comes
sounds
back.
like the kid in the wheelchair from Malcolm in the Middle.
What did you say is the...
I have never felt better.
Would you say is the Young Jeezy of presidents?
I think you're going to have to agree with that he is.
Yeah, I would, but I don't think we would agree for different reasons. You know what I mean?
Again, this irony.
Yeah, I'm lost in the irony. I think that you appreciate it more than you are letting on. What are you saying there? Because I'm saying that by being the Young Jeezy of presidents, I'm saying, 1, he's the best president of all time. B. Let me finish my point. He's a salesman, baby. He knows how to hustle his way to the top.
Sure.
So who do you think is the Miles Davis of presidents?
It's got to be Bill Clinton, man. He plays the sax.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, not bad. I'd say it's George Bush Jr. because he's a monster. And Miles Davis was a monster.
Yeah.
How's that?
Well, he kind of... the way that he treated that guy that wanted to enter his band, that is as bad as invading Iraq. Just
I
as
would
many
call
casualties.
that endlessly
Not a
more
good
gangster
man.
than anything any rapper's done. It's mad. And
Really?
you're flip-flopping right now, dude.
What about when Lil Wayne had weed on him and he got arrested?
Yeah, maybe that's secondarily mad. But anyway, so what? Is Trump alive?
Well, there's a possibility that he's going to die.
Why did
Like
he...
a real possibility. Dude, he eats like fucking pizza toppings as a healthy lunch.
That is his salad.
Which is like, I'm not making it up.
no way.
When he goes on a diet, this is legitimate news, he scrapes off pizza toppings and discards the bread because he's eating healthy, or he'll buy a Big Mac and he'll quite literally shun the bun.
Yeah, he does.
He's
He
just
does
gonna
do that.
Eat the fucking patty.
It's the
with
same
cheese.
diet as my dog. Only proteins and fats.
Yeah.
Pretty much. But
But why did he leave care so quickly? He was there for like 3 days,
well,
right?
if you think about it, dude, like he's in the middle of an election campaign and he's just been diagnosed with a life-threatening disease. He wants to give off the impression that I'm healthy and I'm still doing
But
it.
that's... Yeah.
Which is why he did that. And he also like kind of fucked up. Even though he's like COVID positive, he came out of his hospital just to like wave at people.
Yeah.
Why is that fucking up? He was far away from him, right?
Yeah, but he was in a car, and he was in a car with like 4 other people who are definitely have COVID now. Dude, the cluster is growing. He's worse than that fucking security guard that fucked that hoe.
Yeah, but they probably didn't
Yeah.
care.
In fact, they've like stopped announcing who's getting COVID because it's gotten out of hand and they don't want to like give more negative publicity to it.
In the White House.
Yeah.
So everyone's got it.
Pretty much.
Air herpes.
Jesus.
There's quite a few that have it. And
He's sure.
well, the whole thing is like, how does this affect the elections? How do you think it's going to affect the elections?
Well, I think that his goose is cooked.
You reckon?
Well, look, all I've got, as always, because that's all American pollsters look at. Obviously the pollsters, but also the news. All they care about is polling. They've got no other points other than, well,
polls
how's he
were
doing in Michigan? He doesn't look good. But the polling for him after the debate was terrible. He's nosedived.
I think, like, yeah, this is this point of disagreement that I have with most of the population. I actually enjoyed the debate.
So did I, but it doesn't
did,
really
yeah.
matter what I think. It matters what people in Michigan think.
Yeah.
And
they think, fuck Trump, huh?
yeah, he's down by 15 points nationally, I think.
Well, this is quite the, this is going to be the most MSNBC thing I've ever said, but, well, it was quite the October surprise. I
Getting COVID is quite the October surprise.
And it's like, it's so, I feel bad for the guy, man. Can you imagine?
Mislav, do you know what an October surprise is?
Is it a sex move?
Yeah.
Most of the time, yeah.
I actually don't know.
It actually is.
yes.
No, I have no idea what it is. A surprise in October?
Yes.
Well, pretty much that's what it is. Yeah.
Well, I mean,
But it's just, you leave your A material for October because the election is only in a month, so you want to keep it fresh in people's mind and just keep it circulating in the news. So you bring out your grab it by the pussy moment in October.
right,
you hold
right.
that for a year and you think, okay, we're going to composition what we're going to be releasing to the press this day, this day, this day.
wait, your enemy's doing that, or
Your enemy's doing
Yeah, shit.
And it all
like
started with, I
scandals.
think, I don't know why I'm going to say Sam Kekovich, but it's some guy that I
a
imagine is the
legend.
American equivalent of Dukakis. Michael
know.
Dukakis. But there was just this leak that they put of Michael Dukakis trying to look like he was strong with the military. And he was wearing some military helmet in a tank. And it looks pathetic because he has this little crowy neck. And his head looks like a lollipop. He's a Jesse Searles head, really soccer ball-like. And so he was wearing that. It looks pathetic. And then they got footage of George Bush Sr., I think, with his time on a submarine, and he was looking all noble and regal, like a bald eagle in a suit. And so they released those two images in October, going, which one do you think is going to defend America? And that was the beginning of October surprises. And since then, it's just delved into sex scandal, because
so
that's all that ever works.
Whatever.
Now the
ridiculous.
entire propaganda model can be pretty much summed up by the episode Homer Bad Man of The Simpsons.
Yeah. But do you think like this, do you think there were other October surprises in the pipeline that have been stalled now because of, dude, how can you like fucking pay out someone that's about to
That's
die?
what's amazing.
Yeah.
Trump has Three Stooges syndromed October surprise because every day of his life is a self-inflicted October surprise. This is what people don't understand. This is why they try to October surprise me in the press recently. You can't do that to me. I have said in this podcast 10 cancelable things.
Dude, you know what's fucked about that?
Yeah, I've said, well, yeah.
You've said hundreds.
I think you've said more than me,
One
but
of the things,
You said the vines are good.
and
you said
that-
young Jeezy was good.
Mislav, you're really triggering me.
I did jump out with the A word a few times, but I mean, what? It's not that bad.
few times.
Autism. It's rampant. Fuck.
do you agree?
He just thinks that means autumn. All right, go. Yep.
Do you
Yeah.
agree with
Both.
the Democratic strategy of just like not attacking Trump anymore? They've taken Joe Biden's taken off. All
That's not going to
negative
happen. They're
ads.
just going to take a break because it's
He
not
doesn't
fair.
need to. I think that
take a
Joe
break.
Biden should just save all of his campaigning money for 2024, which will be Joe Biden re-elect the first president that is a corpse. But I think
Do you know what Joe Biden? Do you know what's going to happen? I'm going to kind of. Well, I hope this doesn't happen, but it's such a thing that would happen to Joe Biden.
He'll
Trump
die.
gets really sick from COVID. Biden dies.
Oh, God. You're really onto something here.
I hope that doesn't happen.
There is a
but-
high possibility of that because don't you think that Trump still looks like he's in the prime of his life? The fact that he's
Yeah.
fat just makes him look even more like one of
Thick.
those beach master walruses.
Yeah.
How great is that the alpha male of a walrus is called, quote, a beach master?
How do you know that? How do you know that?
I thought
I
it
think I
was.
was watching a documentary about it once, and he has this harem of 100 walruses, and then there's all of these beta cucks just sitting on the rocks going, I wish I could have just one of them. And they do this little tactic called sneak fucks,
You.
where they just run in, have sex with one of them, and then the beach master, while he's asleep, if he wakes up, he's like, what the fuck? Not even one.
Oh, God. Well, yeah.
That's how it works in the walrus world. Don't you think that just seems like a terrible life?
That
just
does
living on a
seem-
really cold beach.
Yeah, that sounds horrible. But they're extremely
Hey,
fat.
That's every Australian. What are you talking about?
No, that's every Australian in
Right
Victoria.
now.
Get your facts right.
Yeah, that's true. But do you think it'll hurt? So it's hurt his chances. This whole
Terrible.
Really?
He is
But
down in
that's
the
not-
polls 7, 8 points,
I
and
mean-
he was down in the polls 7 or 8 points before.
Really? I mean, I see the sort of irony of it all because he was downplaying it for so long and now it's gotten it. But I don't think it should really affect anything. It's like anyone can get it.
Oh, the COVID? I don't know if
That's what I'm talking
affected
about.
him or not, but I think the
Well,
reason
dude-
that Joe Biden has taken off his negative attack ads is because he's realised he can afford that.
Yeah. No, I get that.
But
But
also, like, don't you like? Is this a harsh thing to say? But if there was cosmic justice for any if you had to-
MSNBC.
MSNBC again, but like, if you think about it, like, literally, Trump was making fun of Joe Biden for having those fucking drive-in rallies. As
Yeah.
opposed to having like everyone clamped up together.
No,
he
there
was
is-
making fun. Even on the debate stage, he was saying how masks are kind of not important. He misrepresented. If you guys watched the debate, he misrepresented like Fauci by saying Fauci. Well, initially Fauci was saying masks are bad, and then he said no, actually masks are good.
Yeah, there's
he never said
definitely-
it was bad.
there's
he was
definitely-
just like afraid that everyone's gonna buy it and they're gonna run out of it for like nurses and shit. So if anyone, and also like, come on, let's be real. Like Trump kind of fucked up COVID. Like there's so
Yeah.
many people dead in the US and not all of them had to die. A lot of them had to die, but not the amount of people that did die. So if anyone was to fucking get COVID, cosmically it would be Trump because the one man. And do you know what? I watch a lot of Sky News. Not proud of it, but I watch a shitload of Sky News. And under any COVID reporting that they would do, I would read the comment section. At least 4 or 5 comments would be, "It's just the flu. It's just the flu." And as soon as like Trump got COVID, you look at Sky News's comments, and everyone was saying, "Oh, I wish President a speedy recovery." And I made my first comment ever. It said, "It's just the flu."
Nice.
I didn't get any
You know
likes
what?
for
I've
it.
got to say this wholeheartedly. Great contribution.
That was it. My one and only time I've commented.
There is a lot of irony. It's like
There
you
is.
can't not see the irony. But
He's on some like
But look, at
heavy
the end of the
fucking
day,
cocktail of drugs,
just
too.
this is the one time where I don't think that irony is great. And
When-
you know
when
why?
it's
Because
actually
everyone's on
applicable.
board with it.
what do you mean?
Being ironic about young Jeezy is great because it's pretty much just me and Ali that are being ironic about it. But being ironic about the President of the United States, particularly when it's Trump, is so on the nose now. It's just, as
Right.
soon as it happened,
It's so- yeah.
Think about what happened to me in that situation. I was getting an interview from Happy Magazine. Now, I'm very happy that Happy Magazine was was interviewing me. They were the only publication to cover the corruption in New South Wales. I owe them a lot. But I'm pretty sure that when that happened, the chick that became a global meme for doing the man-spreading BuzzFeed video, I swear it was her. I swear she works at Happy Magazine.
It's possible.
I was in Newtown in Happy Magazine, and that chick came in, and the first thing I heard her say was, "Oh my God, Trump has COVID." Yeah. Can you sympathise with the way that this news was broken to me? I think I'm all ironied out. I don't think that it can get any deeper than that.
Talk
Yeah.
about
And then
October.
going all the way home, listening to every commercial radio station going, I said things about COVID, no, got COVID.
I love that that's what tips you over the edge.
I suppose that is my vines.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
this thing of,
that-
okay, we get it.
Yeah.
Trump's funny, but not for the reasons you think he is.
You're on the next level. Yeah. I mean, it's just like,
Trump is funny because he is Jerry Seinfeld of today, and much like young Jeezy standing on Miles Davis' shoulders, he is standing on giant shoulders.
so egregious.
That's true.
That's like
know, there's
saying
like-
John Howard standing on his shoulders. John Howard standing on Lang's shoulders, being like,
Lang.
hey, you're in the red. Look at the cover.
You know what? I've really got to pass the compliment back to you. That's funny.
Cool. I'll take that. I'll take that.
Boy, you simps jealous that I have one of his only autobiographies in existence? Yeah, you are, because as MISLAV pointed out, you're the A word, aren't you?
Yeah, and it's not Apple. No, some of you, I'm
Very
sure.
close
are
to
okay.
autumn, though.
Jordan, what would you do if you were
But
Trump
like
right
Autumn,
now?
you're not charming. Unlike Autumn, sorry. Unlike Autumn.
Oh, wow.
Okay, yeah, just to entrench that insult.
Yeah. Just really get that in there. Like and subscribe.
And yeah, he's not just talking about MISLAV sucks at this point. He's talking about everyone.
Well, let's be honest, probably 80%.
Yep.
Join our Patreon. Anyway, what was the next?
Including Miss Love Son. Well, we can move on. Or like, I just wanted to. So there was this like, there's this thing of, well, there's this whole conjecture as to what's going to happen next.
What, with
Apparently,
Trump?
like there was this thing if Trump dies,
Do you really think it's gonna? I don't think he's gonna die. I just don't think it's gonna happen. I know he's in the age group, but like he has the best.
Nah, he's not going to die.
He has the
If
best
you're-
care in the country, and obviously he's
I think
not.
that might kill him. Because, do you know? This is what I read recently. So Trump has been given the most amount of drugs to treat COVID.
Yeah.
So he's been given like this fucking cocktail
Yeah.
of drugs.
So you think that is
hasn't been experimented on everyone? I'm sure it's like he's probably like begging the doctor, fix me, please.
Yeah.
This is too much. But maybe that will kill him.
Yeah,
It's like having. Anyways, look, even if he doesn't die, it's real shit to be in this situation just before the elections. And
isn't it good?
What do you think about Joe Biden's performance in the debate?
I loved it. As a guy who doesn't really like Joe Biden that much, I genuinely enjoyed the debate. And I think that Joe Biden fucking killed it.
Are you turning around like the rest of those simps on YouTube?
No, I'm not turning around. I still kind of don't. I still want Trump to be. I am live right now. Woohoo!
That's like the least egregious thing said on this pod, so don't worry about it.
I mean, you're amongst friends, but not digitally.
Yeah, no, digitally, definitely not. And the amount
Let's
of
explore that. Do you want Trump to win?
no, I'm kind of honestly indifferent. Look, if someone put a gun to my head, I'd want Joe Biden to win because I'm not crazy.
Flip flop.
But at the same time, I don't think there's that big of a difference. Do you know, like, okay, in terms of foreign policy, Iran would be affected. Trump's policy in Iran would change. In terms of China, things would be more or less consistent. In terms of everything, things would be more or less consistent.
No, not in terms of climate change. And
Not
the
in
environment.
terms of climate change. But here's the thing. I'm not saying that Joe Biden's going to come in office and deny climate change the way Trump did. But my question is, Joe Biden is going to be equally, okay, maybe slightly less pressurized by the fossil fuel lobby in the U.S. because they're very fucking powerful.
I don't think that the Democrats even get their money from fossil fuel anymore. As in, they do get money from the fossil fuel industry, but that is not who they are trying to appease.
I don't mean in
They're
terms
trying to
of
appease
donations.
Wall Street. They're trying to appease big tech.
They are, and I understand that. But I'm not saying in terms of donations. So there's one type of influence where someone literally gives you, let's say, I don't know, $40,000 for your campaign. I'm talking about that if you, that the fossil fuel lobby, America's found this fucking huge gold mine of oil. They have a lot of fossil fuels, which they didn't have before, and they want to sell them badly. It's the same predicament that Australia is in. yeah, we don't like climate change, but also what am I going to do with all my fucking coal? So I'm going to have one party that's going to completely deny climate change. That's your job. Then the other party is going to have to fucking make sure that even though there are policies that affect climate change, but you still protect the fossil fuel industry. It's the same thing with the U.S. Theirs is just like recent. So I think Joe Biden's going to be heavily influenced by them. So he might put out things like subsidies for solar panels on houses, low-picking fruits. He's going to pick them really easily. But the question is, are you going to stop subsidizing all of these fossil fuel companies? And I don't think he will.
No, but like just in Queensland, he doesn't have to. You can play both games. You can make them very happy about the fact that they are still getting subsidised and they will still get beaten by renewables because the technology is better.
But it needs to be fucking
You really are just comparing Windows XP with one of those alien gameware systems.
Yeah, look, that's why I said if someone put a gun to my head, I would say Joe Biden. Because I don't, he's objectively better than Trump, particularly on this issue. But generally speaking, I just don't think, the only thing that's going to do is like finally they'll just have an adult and then the rest of the world is going to look at them slightly more seriously. Because at this point, like Trump is a bit of a joke. So no one kind of takes him seriously. Any policy, like his Iran policy, Israel and Saudi Arabia are on board, but he's trying to pitch it to Europe and Europe is not agreeing with it. Someone like Joe Biden, if he pitches the same thing, they might listen. So I'm just saying, so it helps with those, but there's not going to be any dramatic change. I'm not looking for it either way. But what I just think it's a fucking shit show, man. It always has been a shit show. And if Trump wins again, things are not going to change too dramatically, like they haven't after Obama.
Chomsky says that if he wins another one, he could quite possibly end organised society.
Well, for him,
there is higher stakes than normal.
Chomsky's going to die, since he definitely agrees with that. Look, okay, I'm not going to fucking try and defend Trump. He's worse than Biden. So, and I did like Biden's performance. Coming back to the point, I think that the way Biden was calling him a loser. He was telling him to shut up. He was saying how you're the worst president in the United States history. All of that is considered to be like a bad thing for people watching. But I think that's good. He's just trying to establish that, yo, you're not the only alpha in this house. And that's all that's required from that debate, honestly.
Absolutely.
People watching it just go like, particularly like these men, just go like, yeah, he's a boss too. If the dynamic is that there's one alpha, which is Trump, who is able to bully Biden, no matter how good Biden's policies are, no matter how smart he is, none of that's going to matter. There's no one voting for a beta male, even though they might be really nice. And I think Biden established the fact that he is also a alpha.
Two beachmasters on stage.
Yeah.
Tussling tusks. It was a great thing to see. But also, two beachmasters past their prime. So it was also a funny thing to see.
It was funny.
I really do like the fact that they were those two Muppets that always sat at the top of the balcony in the Muppet Show.
Yeah, it's true.
They didn't like each other, but they kind of did at the same time. And that's
Yeah.
what made it wholesome.
Yeah.
I really didn't like all of the commentary about that debate. Every single person going, this was a shocking debate. No, it wasn't. It was the best debate I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Because it was like a heavyweight title trash talking session before the fight.
It was less shocking than the Hillary Trump ones, sure, definitely, right?
And that was a horrible experience.
Yeah.
No one enjoyed that. That was boring and tense.
Yeah.
This was funny and pretty much like this podcast, just people talking over the top of each other.
And Hillary was trying to do her comebacks in a smug way. She was like, her entire thing was, I'm very smart and I am smarter than Trump and Trump doesn't know. This is the thing. I don't think the American people or any people care about how smart you are. That is not a consideration. They need to vibe with you. And if you're going to like make all of your comebacks as these smug things of how I'm smarter, people are not going to vibe with you. But Biden wasn't being smug. He was just straight up telling them, shut up, dude.
Yeah.
There's something endearing about it. And he deserved
And there's something
to be
also
told
that's
to
like,
shut up.
it's not as entitled. There's some street smarts to it. It's what I observed with James O'Doherty when Madman Christo just asked him the same simple question over and over, which was, do you have any experience? Do you hang out with John Barilaro? What contact do you have with him? Couldn't answer it. And then I come on and then I just go, you're pretty much the worst human being I've ever met in my life. You suck. And then he goes, ugh, and hangs up. You know what that is? That is a complete lack of exposure to the real world. And that is something that private school kids, Australia-wide, suffer with for the rest of their life, which is that if you put a lad in that situation and they said, what is your connections to John Barilaro? They know how to answer that. Their response would be, I don't know who the fuck John Barilaro is, bro. What are you talking about, eh?
It's not all.
That's what I'm talking about. Street smarts.
It's like
but all these
beta
private school kids, they're just sitting there being like, oh no, daddy isn't here to hold my hand. What are the rules? What are the rules? I'm going to hang up.
That's not.
And I think that's what happened with Hillary Clinton.
It's not all
Yeah,
private school
I agree
kids.
with that.
It's like the fat nerdy ones that couldn't play rugby. The journalists that are private school kids.
There is a difference between Marist College and King's.
no, I'm
Now I'm
talking
talking about elite private schools.
Riverview Joey's. Would you say they're up there?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. They're all sports kids. They'd just be like, go fuck yourself. But obviously they're not journalists. The ones that are
I suppose
journalists.
actually, because you know what? They'd go into banking and banking would be so much more alpha than
Yeah.
anything in journalism.
Yeah.
Or anything in a political debate.
Yeah, exactly.
Because that whole thing is just...
shouldn't generalize.
Look, I'm pretty sure my job is to slam hookers and snort coke, right? Is
Yeah,
there anything else?
exactly.
More than Young Jeezy. Yeah, no, Young Jeezy is looking at me disapprovingly right now.
Yeah.
He's trying to tell me to stop, and he sells cocaine.
And they probably fist fight as much as Young Jeezy. It's like a tough thing, you know? Whereas journalists, nah. That's the crux of it, you know, like private school journalists.
Can you give me some insight into the realm of the private school?
I just gave you all of it.
That's
all I got.
Rugby,
Yeah.
alpha.
Yeah.
Not rugby, journalist.
Yeah. And then there's a tiny slither of people to bring it back that like the vines that make music.
Really?
Yeah, there's like successful bands that come from private schools because like connections and stuff, but it's like probably like 10% of the year. So it's like rugby.
And the fact that they
10%.
had access to pianos that had all the keys.
Exactly, and amps that turned on and shit. Yeah, so it's basic, but it's essentially, yeah, sport and then academics. And the academics are the ones that are like little bishes.
Okay, because I've just noticed this distinct pattern with all of these cunts from like the AUW, Sydney Morning Herald, Telegraph, anyone that's ever attacked me and used these two as insults of, that's sexist, that's racist. I see it over and over again. I just go, okay, looking at LinkedIn and, ask them. What do you know?
Totally.
Every time.
No, your analogy or whatever completely stands. It's just, you shouldn't say private. It's just they have to have done, you know, obviously there's like there's like.
If anyone went to an elite private school, can you tell us your experience of it in the comments? Because I really want to hone
I think
this.
there are some people. Someone just said,
Have a look.
thanks, MISLAV, for like having our back.
For what? Oh, private
Because you were
school.
protecting private school.
Yeah, you can't
private
generalize
school
this shit.
journalists are kids who do
Plus,
all the
public
work in the
schools-
group project.
Plus, public schools fucking suck anyway. We went to a public school
Yeah, it's
and
the
there was
wild, wild west.
fucking teachers had to pull out photocopies out of the bin because they accidentally threw
yeah,
some out.
but
And they're
that
like, "Oh."
builds character.
Yes,
That's what I'm saying. Anybody from a public school, if they were in that situation where it's just not this conventional thing of, I've accused you of sexual harassment, trump card, like, you know.
True.
That's what's happened with the US election with Trump.
Yeah.
Okay? So the grab her by the pussy moment was supposed to be the moment that he was supposed to sit there and say, oh, I'm so sorry. Okay, all right, I'm just going to let Hillary Clinton win at this point.
Yeah.
And then he was just like, that's locker room talk. Anyway, shut up, you know.
No, but what
that comes from being a fighter, being a scrapper.
But that's what-
And I understand that he grew up
Yeah.
rich, but at some point he was clearly hanging around some blue collar schmoes. I don't know when it was.
Yeah,
but
builders
he's
and
too much
shit.
of a Jersey pastrami eater
Yeah.
to not be.
And that's helped him a lot. Dude, I remember reading that exact thing in Hitler's book. Hitler was saying the same thing. People
Buzzfeed.
always get weirded out. Dude, this is a fucking book. Just read it.
No, I'm saying that, but
Yeah.
it's just,
comparing him to
it's
Hitler
a great
straight away.
comparison, but keep going.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Straight away.
Didn't even think of that.
That reminds me.
But Hitler was saying, Hitler was,
Oh, God.
he was born like into a upper middle class family. And then he ends up becoming like really poor. He becomes a bricklayer in Austria for a little bit. And he was talking about in his book is like how those two distinct experiences were able to form into an individual where he was able to control over the entire country. He was saying, had I just been an upper middle class or a middle class kid, I would not have understood how the average Austro-German thinks. And so he was saying the fact that I was basically hanging out with a lot of blue collar people, without that he wouldn't have been the Führer. So you get experiences. You need to hang out with a whole host of different kinds of people in order to have the skills for you to be a great leader. Same thing happened with Stalin. The reason why Stalin became the leader, one of the reasons that like experts say Stalin became the leader and not someone like Trotsky, for instance, is that Stalin was from Georgia, which is like the shit rural area, whereas like most of these people were like basically private school kids. They grew up in like Moscow. Even someone like Lenin, they were all kind of well off and they were kind of like urban city kids. And Stalin was able to like control all of Russia because he knew how the wild, wild west works. So essentially, same thing applies with like this private school and public school. If you go to a public school, you basically interact with the lowest common denominator, so you understand them better. And it's kind of sad.
I mean, you're not wrong.
And it is kind of sad that this is from 2013, so don't quote me on this. But in 2013, I remember reading that 97% of Australian parliamentarians went to private schools. 97%. Can you fucking believe that?
But see, this is what I think. I think that it robs you of imagination and it robs you of that, gung ho. Come on, let's go. You want to dance?
Unless you're a rugby player.
It really gets it out of that. Maybe they beat each other up, but they still think that there is just this feeling of convention and ritual that's kind of instilled into you from going to those places of these are the bounds of more normality. I could be wrong.
I mean,
but it just really seems to me that every time you're versing a journalist in the mainstream press, they come from that background and, they just have this thing of, but you're not supposed to say that. That's the rules. That's the understanding that they're giving out, right?
No, definitely,
and when it comes to, say, for instance, I can't believe that you said that John Barilaro is Italian. They're not actually offended. This is this huge realization that I had in the last couple of days. They're not actually offended at it being racist. They're offended because they have been programmed to think that that's offensive. They're just saying, you're not supposed to say that. That is really the language that they're putting down there. Everything is just always in this thing of like, but that's not convention. That's the mask that they're putting everything in. Whereas if you're from a private school and you call someone Italian, the teacher just keeps writing on the chalkboard. They don't even turn around for that. Yeah, but in a public school. Yeah, that shit, Wayne. They just keep going.
Yeah.
It's so mild that it doesn't even warrant a reprimand.
No, it's true.
I could have
It's
bigger
true.
issues. Like,
But
she was like, why aren't you wearing a school uniform? It's like, my parents abandoned me 2 years ago.
There's that.
There's
there's
that.
also the fact that just to get enough paper, you have to fish through the garbage bin and find a space food stick wrapper.
It's just, all I'm saying is like the rugby kids, the public school life is supplemented essentially because it's just like beat each other up. It's like almost like it's a similar sort of aesthetic, you know what I mean? But anyone that's a journalist, 100%.
But maybe, sports people. The thing
Sports is its own world.
It's different.
Sport is tough. It's just like, you know what I mean?
It's like rugby.
It's a tough sport.
Like,
So it's like,
bash
it
each
sort of
other up.
synthesizes public life. It's like, I don't give a fuck if you got to study. You're doing this, but it's like, it's intense. But
Right, and our maths was rugby.
pretty much, yeah.
I hurt my head more often
But,
doing that.
rugby players aren't calling you up being like, I'm sure, what do you think about this? You know what I mean? That's the distinction, obviously.
Yeah.
Okay,
But you're
wait,
completely
we-
right. You're completely right. Like, I think that's exactly right. And also they're coddled and they're given positions of, if you go to a private school and you are a legitimate academic, dude, you are, let's just say it, you're a simp. Like, you're going to have a coddled upbringing. Everything's going to be handed to you on a plate and you're never going to experience any, confrontation at all. So naturally, when you were like, fuck you, he was just like, it was like, walking over a fucking rickety bridge for the first time. He was like, I don't want to die, So it's true. It's completely true.
I mean, look, and also someone made a good point. I think it was Barbara in the comments.
And they're all agreeing with you right now.
There's also like Dude, what qualifies as a private school now? I know, like, for example, in my area, which is like southwest of Sydney, if you were to go to our local public school, it's kind of better than the local private school.
Are you talking about
In
your?
terms of just education.
Are you talking about your country?
There's I mean, like southwest of Sydney. I guess my country.
Well, that's your country too, I guess. Now.
Yeah, God's country. I'm talking about like, anyways, doesn't matter. So it's, some private schools are just kind of shit. Like all of these Catholic schools, they're selling immigrants like the dream to send your kids to a good private school, but it's not really a good private school.
That's
It's just-
Marist.
There's a lot of, and then
Yeah.
there's a lot of these sports schools. I think what you're talking about is like rich people private school.
Yeah. Look, I personally, if I had kids, I'd be sending them to a Catholic school.
Really?
Unless they were talented, I might put them into a selective school. But
Really?
If they're just
Why?
your run-of-the-mill chum bucket
That's
that
surprising.
I think will just get a job at H&R Block or whatever, I'll just be like, there you go.
Why don't you put them into like a good public
Why wouldn't you put
school?
it? Yeah, I thought.
Like if you're living in a decent, okay, if you're living in a decent area, you should definitely send your kid to the local public schools because the public school would probably be fine. But if you're living in like a shit area,
Really? Because I look, all I remember, and this is just so
Read that.
telling, but when my mum was going through the education system's tertiary education of just becoming a teacher, whatever that's it, teacher
Yeah.
college,
Yeah.
university.
Yeah.
When she was going through there, one of the first lessons she had was the professor just making this long line and then saying, this is where public schools are going.
Yeah.
By the year 2000, get out.
Shit. Year
That's pretty much what happened to her. She got out in 1998, but she said that there was just a serious decline that you saw happening
Because of
in the
funding,
public schools,
funding
and
just
lack of
pulled out.
funding,
Yeah.
a deliberate undermining strategy of conservative governments and economic rationalism to try and undermine the public education
just-
system.
part of it also
Can I-
has to do
it's
with
a
like
really
these
good comment.
millions of Catholic schools.
Can I just put this? There's a comment from a guy called Rainmaker called "Private schools hired hodded teachers." Fact.
Probably.
No, definitely.
can't do
Anyway,
Well,
go
I
on.
mean, the only hot substitute teacher we had ended up getting a job at Waverley. So
there you go. There you go. Yeah. So there was like a conscious decline. There was a point in the timeline where it like dramatically declined.
Yeah.
Cool.
Wait, what was that?
And I think it's gotten worse out. Well, I mean, it's
2000?
probably pretty bad when kids in Kazakhstan are beating us.
dude,
Is
Isn't
that
that a joke country? I didn't know it existed until Borat.
But did you like?
Yeah, that
you
is
liked
true.
Newtown though,
Oh, man,
didn't you?
Rye was
But that's
right.
a selective school.
True, that is selective. No, that's
So-
true. That's true. That's true.
Rye was correct. 2000 was the best year.
For putting your finger over the second two.
Not a good example, but another big Australian band in the 2000s, and that's all I'll say about that.
Yeah,
but
that band was good. Yeah.
And its lead singer even
Yep.
better.
yeah,
He's probably not the lead singer, is he?
he is.
Yeah, he's a lead singer. Good old Rye. Now,
His name isn't. His name.
no, his
It's
name's Ray. It was
Ray.
really
It's
embarrassing.
Ray, but we're just that's gonna be on his tombstone. In Rye we trust.
And let's be honest, it should.
Yeah,
I don't deserve to live that down. I feel really bad.
No,
because
you
he
do.
was
You do.
a
You do.
very insightful man.
yeah. But you,
Well,
it's not
and
the
he
end
went
of the
to
world.
Kings, and might I say he was a king.
Can we
But-
just? Oh, sorry. If you have to finish your thought, sorry.
Yeah, that's all good.
There really isn't much more to say about this. I just noticed recently, though, that there is a very obvious streak between the people that are imparting information, and I know that we've discussed this before, but the whole thing, what I'm working on now at the moment, just as a little preview to everyone, I am working on a really long, and it just keeps getting longer and longer, response to the Sydney Morning Herald article, because there's just so many sentences where I think, you know what? No,
Not harsh
fuck
enough.
you. You're not getting away with that.
Yeah.
You know? So it's just getting longer and longer. And it might end up just being an hour straight, no music, just here's the facts, here's that. It'll just be a long special comment with Keith Olbermann. Because
Do it in two
it's
parts.
just the Chomsky propaganda model in real time. Everything that he said about them and how they think, they admitted to me or Christo on the phone. One of us. Either in correspondent emails or when Christo was grilling them beforehand, pretty much just asking them over and over again, what connections do you have with John Barilaro? They couldn't answer it. What I've noticed from it is that the people that are giving us information, they're always trying to put it through this veil of, you're a sexist or you're a racist. Those are the two things that they go to every time.
Yeah.
Because in their minds, that means that they're a good person because they accept someone that they're from a different skin color if they're from Togo, right? What they don't acknowledge is the fact that if they do accept someone from Togo, they're just like that Prince character that Eddie Murphy played. They're just, they're like the royalty's son.
Yeah.
So they're still of that same elite class.
Yeah.
And what happens is that you see in these parliamentary circles, right? I swear, from my knowledge of what I've been getting from the insides of even state parliament, everyone that's advising the Labor Party, not everyone, but there seems to be this little line of people that clearly went to Sydney University. And if they went to Sydney University, where did they go before that? Joey's, right? And everybody that's a journalist in that area, where are they from? Those top 8 elite private schools. They're just all these people that all knew each other, graduating and going into this bubble, and then they're all reporting on each other, and there just seems to be this little, now it's your turn to lose. You're the Labor Party. You're supposed to lose now. Everybody just kind of tacitly, subconsciously understands what the roles are. They play their little roles, and it just keeps going like it has since the beginning of Federation.
That's fucked. That's really fucked
That's
up.
a very encouraging thought that you put out there.
I mean, I think it's true. I think you're completely
But
right. It's
you just
scary.
you get some kid that actually is from the working class, like me, for instance, right? And then I just come in there and I'm just being like, yeah, fuck you, fucking Super Mario cunt. You're fucking corrupt. And you're not supposed to say corrupt. You're supposed to say a legend. A legend.
Yeah.
And they freak out.
Look at this guy. We know he's from the working class. Look at this. He scrubs up, huh? Yeah, no, it's true. It's true. And that's
don't be fooled by the rocks
But
that I got.
you had an advantage, even though you are technically from the working class. But this is what I'm talking about. This is what differentiates between like Hitler and anyone else who was a bricklayer. Even though you were poor, as in your family was poor, you lived in decent suburbs.
That's true, and
that
I
makes
had
a
that.
huge
I had
difference.
that.
That does
You're
help.
right.
Yeah.
You were the poor kid in those schools, but like you gained so much from it. You know how rich people think. You also know how poor people think.
And you know what else as well? I remember reading this in a self-help book, and I will say this. Yeah, okay, I was just living in a rich suburb because for some weird reason we had this landlord that gave us cheaper rent than it would have been to have lived in Broad Meadows or some shit.
True.
Like it was unbelievably subsidized for no reason. I still to this day don't know why. So I was there, but I was just walking around all of these mansions all the time, even though I lived in some squalid little Harry Potter closet. But I'd walk outside and every house was massive. Yeah. And there'd just be people driving in their bloody BMWs and their Lexus and stuff. And so my brain subconsciously registered that's what you're supposed to be in life. And I think that if you grow up in your Macquarie Fields, there is no one driving around in a Lexus unless, of course, they're a drug dealer or something, right? Yeah. So that's your model for success.
Huge
so
advantage.
You are right. You are definitely right that it's just like there's this thing in the back of your mind that's just being like, you're supposed to be in the 1%.
You know
that
what it could be.
Because
And that is such a big advantage. That's almost more of an advantage than I would say something like a university education.
Yeah,
More
I would
so.
say.
Just the idea that that's normal.
Yeah.
Normal is having a big house. Normal is being able to maintain a good lifestyle.
Yeah. Sorry.
Normal
I had to say that
is
again.
Normal is
going
that photo.
to Thirsty Merc concerts
and his name.
This is so fucking
and
good.
hanging out with Rye.
No, that's definitely true. That's definitely true.
But okay, so look, 100% agreed. And there's if you grew up in Mount Druitt, there is something about like everyone has a chance to succeed, but not everyone has the same kind of opportunities. And opportunities don't necessarily mean that you've got money. Opportunities sometimes mean you hang out with like people that are rich and you go like, okay, that's how life can be. Because dude, a lot of people don't even. Okay, here's another fact. I was reading this today. Interestingly, if you earn over $150,000 a year, you assume that you don't earn nearly as much as what rich Australians do. You think you're below middle. If you earn $45,000 to $50,000 a year, you legitimately are in the lower income bracket, but you think you're medium income. You think you earn more than most of the Australian people, even though you earn $45,000 a year. There's something to be said over there.
Because if you're earning $150,000 a year, you're living in an apartment in Bondi in a share apartment and you're renting.
Jesus.
That's the difference. But if you're earning $50,000 a year, you probably have a house in Gosford.
Yeah. Or at least used to be able to get a house in Gosford quite easily.
Okay, now you have a house in Condobolin.
yeah, 50 grand. Not even, dude. 50. That's not a great wage, is it? You can't buy a
It's
house.
like,
on
but
that.
that's what I'm saying. It's literally the lowest. I mean, there's poorer people.
You're renting
but that's
in-
the lowest bracket. Because I was reading through this because of the budget, which we will talk about. But yeah, I just thought it was interesting. If you earn low amounts of money, you think you're rich. If you earn high amounts of money, you think you're poor.
Yeah.
Huh.
And I think it is just that. It's just purely because your environment shapes you that much
Yeah. It's probably-
that
yeah.
you are looking around at everything and you go, well, you know, a McMansion's the same as a mansion, right?
Yeah.
I mean, how could I be suffering? I just had a Big Mac. I'm doing good.
But it really does actually feel like that because I remember all the kids that used to come from my area always going, oh, how could you live in the Shire? And you go to the Shire and you're like, how could you not? Some of these poor suburbs are better than the rich ones.
You reckon?
Yeah.
Why?
Because there's not every man there has a shaved grey head, is really muscly, and is pissed off that they are like having to clip their own lawn. You know, just being like, shouldn't this be Julio's job? Where is I
like
going back from holiday?
I like that guy more. I like that guy.
Oh, you would love that guy.
Yeah, I like that guy.
What
Because
else?
you had a similar upbringing to me. That's why.
Probably right, yeah.
And Ali pretty much had that Hitler upbringing just by the fact that he grew up in Pakistan. So there's no escaping
But
poverty there.
I will.
I lived in he lived basically in Vaucluse,
Oh, right.
but it ain't Vaucluse.
It ain't
Yeah.
Vaucluse. But yeah, for
Damn.
relative.
District
Einstein
1.
said it's all relative. Relatively, it's Vaucluse, but it's basically worse than Mount Joy. And it was completely
Yeah.
flooded. recently.
Jesus.
Okay, so can we let's
Thought it was
just
a desert.
let's quickly, because we've been getting a lot of requests about the budget.
Their budget.
Well, I don't know anything about that. It's just happening now,
because
isn't
it's
it?
just like it came out like a couple of days ago. They're trying to pass this legislation, MISLAV. What do you think about this? This is
Let's get your thoughts on it.
My thoughts are it's a load of shit. Let's move on. It's probably bullshit.
Worst, the most mundane shit ever. Because if I tell you, so look, the coalition is trying to come up with a plan that will go out in 3 phases. The first 2 phases of it aren't that controversial. The third phase is controversial. So in stage 1, which would happen immediately if it passes through from the Senate, there will be a tax offset. So depending on how much you earn, you could potentially save. This is how fucking menial these figures are, but it's a fucking news story.
Let's get into it.
$530 to about $1,080, and in a matter of a year. And that's the point of it, is to recover from COVID economy. So it'll have more money, and people would spend more. Anyway, so that's stage 1. This is not the controversial one. In stage 2, same thing. There'll be an offset, same amount of figure, slightly less actually, but the marginal tax rate, which normally applied if you earned $41,000 or more, is going to go up to $45,000. So if you were earning $41,000 before, you paid a marginal tax rate.
Getting more booze.
If you pay so you basically, like, if you were earning $43,000, $44,000, you won't be paying any tax. So that's, I guess, good. I have my own opinions on like how good that is, but that's not the controversial bit. The third stage is, which is what the coalition tried to sneak in. This is basically like so they're saying that by, I think it was 2024, anyone that earns between $41,000 to $200,000 will get, instead of paying a tax rate of 32.5%, they'll get a flat tax rate of 30%. And this is controversial because that means a lot of people that are earning, I don't know, $190,000 a year, which definitely puts you in the top echelon of Australian society. A lot of people don't know this, particularly
When
the
are you
ones
in the top 1%?
I think you
Is
are
it
top
100,000?
1%. 200,000 is top 1%, but within that 1%, you're kind of low.
Right.
But it's still the top echelon of society. You are minting it. Like you are one of the, so And you're getting a tax break as well on this. And because you're earning more money, your tax saving is actually more. So if 2.5% saving for someone that earns $200,000 is a lot more than someone that earns $41,000, you know? So that's the controversial bit. I think it's going to probably, but my entire argument is, I just want to let you know, just in case you don't know what the proposed legislation is. Dude, all of this we end up defunding shit because of stuff like this. So someone can save $500 in 1 year. That is good enough for us to like defund our public housing, our public schools, our fucking like shit like parks, because all of this money is coming from somewhere. You're giving someone like extra $500. What are they gonna do?
TV.
There's other, you could, but like people are already buying TVs. You've given coronavirus supplement to people. I just don't
it's a
think like
shit
this
policy.
bullshit.
It's such a
amount-
stupid way to do it. Look, well, obviously you got to give them credit for the fact that they passed Labor's JobKeeper and JobSeeker. That's great. And also the hypocrisy of it. The fact that they were saying, Kevin Rudd has broken the budget by giving out $1,000 and then had the audacity to give out $1,000 again a few months later.
Yeah.
How are we ever going to pay this back? Soon as it's on the other foot, $750 this week, $750
Every
that
week.
month, that
Yeah.
month. It's been a fucking year. They're giving out as much as Kevin Rudd did every single week.
Yeah, no.
which is by itself is not a bad thing, but the hypocrisy shows.
The
That's
hypocrisy
what-
of it is insane. But,
It is.
and obviously no one's going to pick up on it. It's
Well-
like trying to explain the irony in the vines to MISLAV.
Here we go again.
Hey, none of this bald cap hitting on the mic, all right? Yeah. That is how you stimulate an economy. We know this. Anyone that is trying to push this narrative that tax cuts stimulate the economy. There's been extensive study on this. Australia Institute did it. They said the same thing. If you put the same money that you're putting into tax cuts into infrastructure, it would boost the economy tenfold. Yeah. Tenfold.
It would also help the fucking constituency that you already have. Tradies would love you. Like it's not even that you're gonna you're gonna help the dough bludgers. You're gonna help your own people, and I think that's probably a better way to do it. But because like for most people, look, an extra $500 for someone that is like really poor is great. But the thing is, if they're that poor, they're probably not even earning properly, which means that this whole tax offset is not going to affect them. If you earn a decent amount of money, let's say you earn like $70,000 a year, an extra $700 is just going to go into your savings, which is not going to help the economy anyways. No. Unless you're dirt poor, any money that you give them, particularly a small amount of money like $500, dude, it's just going to go into like, eventually it'll be spent on like Uber Eats or something for them, like it's...
Isn't it amazing that really what should be happening is not the trickle-down theory, but the trickle-up theory?
Yeah.
You should actually just be giving all the money in society to popcorns.
Yeah.
Because they spend
Because
it.
They're just going to go out and go,
immediately, yeah.
price line.
Yeah. It's the most effective, which is why Kevin Rudd's thing worked, because it ended up, look, most people are poor. Well, as in like most people are not dirt poor, but most people are not earning hundreds of thousands of dollars. So by giving everyone $1,000, just as like a matter of probability, you're going to hit more poor people, and that's going to help the economy. But if you design your entire fucking recovery strategy as like a tax offset thing, it's going to give more savings to people that earn a lot more that are not going to spend it, and it's going to get less savings to people that earn little who want to spend it in the first place. So you're not meeting your objectives. It's just a shit plan. And there's
My
something...
little conies, if you're listening, and I know you are, I just looked at our numbers. Holy shit, they're good.
They're really high. Fuck, 1,000 over 1,200.
Because they're expecting us to talk about the budget. And I suppose we are, but we are really just saying the ABC 24 points. But don't tune into them because they're annoying and smug. And we're not. So
Young Jeezy's
I'm just wondering,
cool.
can anybody just find out, because obviously we're live at the moment, not that MISLAV would notice because he is on his phone anyway, but we could... But I don't think he knows how to access Vice Australia. If you guys...
This is more interesting than what you guys are saying.
See?
Bislav, complete your thought.
Why I have burger when I can have steak.
But they're just relaying what we're saying.
Yeah.
So you are just really watching the jumbo screen when you could be watching the Jets.
No, this is the Jets. You guys the jumbo screen.
Yeah, fair enough.
So no, you didn't
Now I
finish.
can't even remember what I'm talking about.
You want them to
because I've just got
find
this
out something?
barrage of abuse.
You
What
want
was it
them to
again?
find out something?
Oh, yeah, that's right. Vice Australia. Can you just look up Vice Australia and see what they're saying? Because I remember a few years ago, they just came out with the 2018 budget, I think. And their response was, how leaders there, Centrelink gets an extra $20,000 to answer phone calls. Yeah, but there was a cut to people on Newstart of, I think in that year, 4% or something. Take what you can.
Damn. Do you think they'll have something out already?
Huh?
Do you think they'll have the article out already?
Well, they were releasing it in real time.
Oh shit.
And it was
Okay,
really
well,
good
you
because
guys-
I had just attacked them for being owned by Rupert Murdoch, and then all of these hipsters were sitting there going, having a bit of cognitive dissonance, But
But they probably didn't use that term. They're probably like, I'm heap stressed
yeah.
right now. No.
This is not the most lit thing I've ever seen. Hashtag pretty disappointed. Anyone that says disappointed or takes,
What the hell's takes?
I don't want you on this feed anymore. Watch our numbers go down to about half.
Yeah, well, I already
Well,
put it
we're
out for
about,
autism, so we're
we've-
still strong.
We've got to end soon.
Yeah, but they like that.
Right. Vice. What are they saying?
This
Vice
is weird
news
about the
isn't
net.
bad.
All the words that you can't say on mainstream media are very popular online, and all the words that you can't say online are very popular in the mainstream
Yeah,
media.
I'll write-
like lit.
I'll write that in a notebook. Fuck. Honestly, it's all crazy to me. But
They apparently don't hate Vice News, dude.
they also
It was okay.
Wait, what do you mean you don't hate Vice?
Hey, some guy
Explain
said
yourself.
some guy said Vice News is degenerate slime, so it's,
Thank you.
it's
Okay,
reasonably
finally some common
Vice
sense.
News was okay between like 2012
Was it
to 2013.
Was it defunded in Australia? Someone said it's defunded in Australia.
It was defunded. I don't know if it doesn't exist anymore. Is that the case?
I
They
don't
just
know.
ran out of money.
Jesus, I think that the Ivy's
gone.
closed and
Hey, I have
Vice
a-
Australia's
No,
still
the
open.
Ivy's
I live in a
open.
parallel universe.
I have a question for you. What's up with this like incredible rise and fall of like BuzzFeed and Vice News? What was the flaw with their motto?
Dude, this
The
is
thought
old
with their
news.
model was that they were trying to do it by themselves. What they need to understand is that they are just a lie to advertisers, and as a result, they need to have done what Junkie did and Pedestrian did, which was get amalgamated into that massive conglomerate that is Channel 9. That's where Pedestrian went. Junkie went to Ooh Media, the most obnoxious name I've ever heard in my life. Do you ever feel like punching a logo more than Ooh? But they went into that one, and the reason that they move into these is you look at their engagement, they're getting 1 or 2 likes, despite having millions of dollars thrown behind them. I've walked into these studios before, and this is before they amalgamated with Channel 9. So many freebies just sitting around in the office, and it was just this Triple J gulag. It was very scary walking in there. Just all of these extremely hot, exotic women sitting around being like, is lit still cool? Please don't fire me. It was like everybody was looking at that little...
I'd be fired before they hired me.
Can you imagine the stress level on that person where you have to like reconsider if lit is still trending or not? Jesus, kill yourself.
Yeah. Look, you did take the words out of my mouth. I didn't say them. They just looked like that they were just these creatures in Logan's Run with that little gem in their hand being like, oh God, I'm 25. Getting dragged out.
Yeah.
So that was my interaction with them before they got gobbled up into the giant media beasts. And now what they do is they just say to advertisers that have no idea about markets, like Blue Haven Pools or something, hey, you know what, we've got this really down with the youth market that's just aimed at 18 to 30 pedestrian. They all read it. What 18-year-olds are really interested in are dog tints from Kmart. Right? so they just put all of their advertising dollars into them. That's why those guys stood afloat. That's why Vice and BuzzFeed died, because they tried to do that, but they weren't part of this greater package that was pretty much just a lie to funnel out more dollars from advertisers that didn't know any better. It was just a bunch of, pretty much they were trying to soak up the innovative market, and they were just looking at it and thinking, your numbers are hollow. Nobody's watching this shit.
Yeah, you remember back in the day, because we used to, I guess we can take his name, Tom. Tom used to work at like some company. And
Yes,
he was
original Ali.
original Ali. And
White
he was,
Ali.
The things that he would tell
White
me were
Ali,
shocking.
ethnic Robbie.
He would
Hey, he was ethnic, New Zealand.
Yeah, he was more ethnic than you, actually.
Well, I guess.
But I was told that because Tom used to work for some company that made ads or whatever. I'm not gonna get into it. I think he was Telstra, whatever.
Shout out Tom. You watching?
But he
sure
would
he
tell
is.
me like how gullible and idiot these suits were. They don't know. They didn't know anything at that point about numbers. You could tell them, oh, 50,000 people are gonna watch this, and they're like, what? So that means you need $1 million, right? It was like, yeah, that's what it means.
Oh, definitely.
But I think that's obviously changed now. Maybe like the con is just over for everyone.
I don't think it is. I think it's just you need to be able to talk to the right people. And if you're in Channel 9, look, it's not even a thing of con. Maybe it is just a con thing, but it's like, look, I'll give you $5 million. I just really enjoy playing golf with you on Sunday. I think that's
I'm
what's
sure
going
that
down.
happens. Definitely.
I think that really a lot of I actually remember talking to an advertiser that was saying, I was saying, State of Origin, they're paying $800,000 an ad. And he was saying, that's right. And I was saying,
Oh my
is that
God.
market value? And they're saying, no, it's extremely overinflated. So what is it? This is a dick swinging contest. It's just so that they can say to their mate, hey, did you see on State of Origin, there was a Toyota Hilux ad. Put that there, mate. That's how the North Shore functions. Isn't it amazing that that's what advertising boils down to? Just apes beating their chest.
I mean, that's exactly what it is.
That makes
That
sense.
is exactly what it is. You're not wrong at all. That's all it is. Like verbatim. There's nothing, and it was like a little bit of like
Because
creative.
you do have an inside track into all of this because you grew up, as you can see by all of these sporadic and very small tattoos in the North Shore.
Yeah.
And
Hey, show them your new one.
Oh yeah, want to see my new one?
I think that palm tree is pretty much just like being branded in a gulag. That means that
Away from your
you grew up
mic
in
and show
Sinai.
them- So that's the camera.
I don't know if they'll be able to see it though.
They can see it.
I'm gonna put some fucking pawpaw on it. It's getting
Now,
scaggy.
MISLAV, tell everybody what that represents.
Young Jeezy, his third album. I'm a. Can you say that? Oh, band?
All right, that's all the time we have for. We had some fun, guys.
Oh,
Thank you
God.
so
Okay,
much.
okay,
I really
thank you for
appreciate it
joining
today. Oh, God, wasn't it great? And especially MISLAV, thank you for being so G-rated.
Yeah. That's what you all get for your agreement.
Collapse happening.
I think we should go.
No. Let's see what happens now.
No. We've got to go.
No, we got to go. All right. Bye, guys. Thanks.
leave that.
Thanks. Fun. Blah, 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 blah. You meant sticks.